Hey, 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 how's everybody doing? I hope you've had a wonderful day. Mine was nice. It's very much in the swing of spring around here, very warm. I don't have to wear my jacket outside. It is really, really, really good to go walking in that weather. But it makes you appreciate it. Makes you appreciate the days that are rainy, even when I choose to walk through that, because weather is weather. It doesn't have to be good or bad. You don't have to put a label on it, but it does make you appreciate this kind of weather when the other kind of weather has come through and you've endured that and you've danced in it anyway. Labels can definitely have a positive or negative connotation depending on your perspective. It's all relative. I was thinking about that today and some of the things that have crossed my path that I have pondered upon, and I love moss. I see moss everywhere at the park. And I also watch the pressure washing channels where guys get paid a lot of money to do their exterior cleaning, and they are getting moss off of things, and while watching that can be very satisfying. I think that moss is beautiful. I had a chimenea one time that I sold when I moved into an apartment and didn't have room for it anymore, and there was a little bit of moss on it, but I didn't clean it off. I left it up to the new owner because I thought it was gorgeous, but it's all perspective. It depends on how you look at it. So we can always shift our perspective and take the labels off and not label anything good or bad. It just is what it is. It has its own unique identity, just like we do, and we can enjoy it appreciate it for both things and learn how to enjoy it anyway, how to love it anyway, just like people. So moss, I looked up, is often seen as a sign of renewal or protection. So it can be looked at that way. I've also seen vultures lately. There were 3 vultures sitting on the bridge at the park the other day, and they are often looked at as symbols of death because that's what they feed on. But in society, it can also be looked at as sacred and holy. So, mistletoe, I thought about immediately when I was writing this message, is because it's caused by bird feces, and it's often poisonous, considered poisonous to humans. And the Viking mythology is where we get kissing under the mistletoe because they see mistletoe as a sign of fertility. I love giraffes. I have always loved giraffes. I think that they look very majestic and statuesque, but in moving to San Diego, and I went to see, it was the first place I ever really saw a lot of giraffes at one time because that zoo is enormous, but they don't have any gates around the exhibit. They just dig trenches because giraffes are insanely afraid of heights, which is really funny because of how tall they are, but they don't try to get out of their exhibit at all because they're scared of falling into those trenches. Roller coasters, something I used to be really afraid of and would hold myself back and would sit off to the side as all my friends went and rode and had fun. And now I will get on any roller coaster at all. I consider them very exhilarating. So once I took the leap and I stopped being afraid of them and I stopped putting that label and that connotation on it, I shifted my perspective and I saw what I was really missing out on. Same with being shy. It sharpened my discernment for sure. I can read body language better than I can some books, and energy better than I can some books. But I was really missing out on learning from people and their personalities and their different life perspectives as far as where they were raised and how they grew up and their mindset. So, same can be put with your enemies. You have to love your enemies. We are all part of the same power source. So you have to love them. You have to practice that unconditional love, even if you don't want them in your presence. Have unconditional love for them, instinctually pray for them, because where you might see them as something that's out to get you, take that fear based off of it, take that connotation off, and shift your perspective and look at them with compassion and know that they are suffering inside. They are victims of their own mental prison. So shift perspective. It could mean a world of change in the way that you live your life and how you hold yourself back, or how you will keep yourself from loving or experiencing things that weren't bad at all. And they don't have to be good all the time either, but it's okay. It's okay. Stop taking things so seriously. Life does not have to be serious at all. That keeps you in fear. And we live in a fear machine. So disconnect from the TV and the cell phone, because you're feeding it with that, because that is very much the society's norm. We're fed fear by the government, by the ads, by all of the programming, all of the conditioning. And as soon as you get that out of your way and stop feeding it yourself and telling yourself that those things are true, or feeding yourself other narratives that are limiting you, then life will show you how free that you already were. You just let someone else put chains on your minds, and you put the chains on yourself. You gave that permission. So you fed it, you kept it going. It's only your fault. You're not a victim, and it's up to you to change that. Nobody's going to change that for you. You have to forge your own path and realize that you are sovereign. You are limitless. You are powerful. You are unconditional love, the I am. So it's good affirmations, the I am affirmations. I am powerful. I am infinite. I am unconditional love. I have everything that I need already. That will make a huge change in your existence as well. But these labels become part of your identity, and your identity is ego-based. So anything that you have an attachment to, you are giving permission. You're giving your power away, and it is something that can be weaponized to hurt you. Do not give your power away, and that is the number one way that we do it. That and people pleasing. Think about a time when identity based automatically makes me think of children, because I have detached from being a mother at the moment, unless God realigns the path with throwing down his divine intervention card and I am entrusted to be a mother again. I have detached from that at the moment so that it does not hurt me. It cannot be used as a weapon. But if you think about in that category, how parents will often brag on their children, my kid can do this and my kid can do that, and they do it in a way that reflects onto them and makes them feel like they're better than, or puts them in competition with others, and that they're killing the competition because my kid can do this, or they put their kid in all kinds of activities even if their kid didn't ask for it. Very often it's not what they wanted to do, but what their parents thought they should do. And all of that is ego-based. I wonder how much they're telling their kids that they're proud of them and what they say behind closed doors. I saw a little girl decked out at the park today with all of her gear for riding her bike, all the pads and the helmets, and she needed practice. It was apparently like the first time that she had done this, because I saw training wheels on the bike, and it wasn't as successful, as exciting that she had thought it would be. It's going to take more work. And the mother was just chewing her out. You're wasting my time. You are just going to cry the whole time. We're going to leave. And she wasn't there was no one around but me. And she was so frustrated that she didn't care that I heard, but she doesn't realize what it's doing to that little girl and how much she's internalizing that criticism and that lack of patience. And you just think your kid's going to get on it and just be amazing. I taught myself how to ride a bike. One of my sons taught himself how to ride his own bike. So when they're ready, they'll do it. Sometimes they need help and some confidence and some encouragement. They don't need that criticism. But that's what a lot of parents do, and they think that no one's listening or that very few people are around. So I don't care what that girl at the park thought. I'm just going to lash out and unleash on this child, not thinking about how it's going to affect them or how they may need to not project onto the child that they're not doing everything that they could be doing to help the child, and that maybe the perspective needed to be shifted there so that she could be more involved and help instead of hurt. But I've seen a lot of parents that do not share when their kids get in trouble. That does not need to make the news or the Facebook feed. You will never know about those things because a lot of people have kids just for show. It's the attachment that feeds their identity as a parent. Not every pregnancy is planned, I understand, but the ones that are, sometimes I see parents using their children as competition and something that feeds their ego because they're putting them front and center on a stage to put a spotlight on for the wrong reasons. They're using it for reflection onto them instead of really getting to know what the kids' interests are. They are their own person. They are not a carbon copy of you. They have their own life path, their own unique interests and things that they need to learn here. And they don't always, sometimes they do. Like this little girl, I'm sure she's going to learn by the way that her mother treated her to be a pleaser. She's going to be codependent on whatever her mom wants her to do and how she wants her to be because she's going to try to avoid the behavior that her mom was inflicting upon her today. That didn't make her feel very loved. Her mother wasn't proud of her. She's going to learn that she needs to be perfect in order for her mom to love her on those conditions where she felt bad today. She doesn't want to feel that again. So she's going to try to avoid anything and everything to keep from that happening again. And it shouldn't be that way. If you identify as a parent, it's something that can be used to hurt you, but also you're feeding your ego with it, whether you realize it or not. I had in the past thought about perspectives that I had about kids calling their parents by their first name, and I thought it was weird and sometimes disrespectful, and I can't believe that just felt so foreign to me. I was like, I can't believe they let them do that, and instead of letting the kid lead the way. But I think now my perspective has changed, detaching from that label. I'm not even going to say what I was thinking, but detaching from that label and not identifying as a mother to feed my ego in any way. If you are letting the child call you by your first name, you are miles ahead of everyone else because you're letting them not lead everything, but you're letting them have their own personality, their own identity. They don't have to call you mom. They are God's children. They are not our children. You have to break away from that label and change that perspective because they are not ours. They also have God inside of them, the same that we all do. We are all connected. See them more as an equal, because before we condition them and teach them what they have to think and be afraid of and what they should and shouldn't do to fit into this society, they would have remembered more than you remember because you've been conditioned. So in a way, I think they're superior to us before they become tainted by this limited belief system, by this fear-based narrative that we try to feed them and make them conform to. And if you don't do that, if you don't place that on them, then they organically become who they were supposed to be a lot sooner. That's why I would love for us to change the societal norms to letting them become who they were sent here to be on their own, not place our stuff on them, and let them develop who they are. They don't have to call us mom or dad. Our first name is fine. Our first name is fine because we are just a vessel, a portal, if you will, to bring them into this world. We are facilitating that reincarnation for God. If it weren't for God, He never would have allowed that to happen anyway. Never would have been. You never would have had it. It was because of God that they're here. That is God's child. He is in control of that. You have been entrusted to be a vessel to take care of them and to teach them, but we're doing a horrible job at that by conditioning them to think something that's completely wrong, that's going to hold them back and keep them stuck if they don't learn on their own, hopefully without trauma, but most likely not. So I think we're doing a disservice to them in that conditioning by making them call us something. Let them. Usually the first grandkid in the family will name the grandmother. It's so silly to me now about grandmothers that are like, oh, I want to be Nana, I want to be Gigi, I don't want to be Granny. But if you let that being lead the way that they want, it's not a huge deal. They'll call you whatever they want. It's often not what you want to be called at all. So get rid of that control. Let them be their own person. Let them be their own person. And just take it as a blessing that you were able to facilitate that. What an honor. That's a huge honor. So look at it that way. Also, people that talk about being chosen, and I very much believe I'm chosen, but I believe that we're all chosen. There's so many people out here in the spiritual community that do nothing but chosen channel videos, chosen this, chosen that, and it places certain people on a pedestal like they are some kind of elite being, and they're not at all. We're all chosen for our life path. We are all co-creators with God and choosing what we want to come down here and do. We are all connected. We are all part of the same source. So you can't consider yourself more chosen than another person. I have God's favor on me. No, some people stay stuck in the low vibrations. They don't get out of the conditioning. They don't get out of the programming. And if they're in low vibrations, they're not ever going to remember what their life path was supposed to be. And that's okay. That's okay. They have free will. That's a gift that God gave them. They don't have to continue out the plan. They don't ever have to wake up. I think they're doing a disservice to themselves because they are so unique and so special and so powerful in what they could be, the potential. I love to show people their potential and teach them how to reach for it, which is why this channel exists, which is why I get so excited talking about it, because that light bulb moment and then the forward movement where they're not stuck anymore and not frustrated and in those low vibrations, that is beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing someone love themselves because they've realized their potential. Even if they don't know what they're doing yet, the more they practice that, the more it grows. And that is just gorgeous. It is spectacular to watch. And I've seen it for years, just being a teacher, like on the job, and being a manager, because that was always my approach. I love that light bulb moment. It is just priceless. But yeah, some beings go rogue. They don't want to. They don't want to do that. They want to stay. They're getting some kind of payoff from being in the low vibes, the self-pity, or being a vampire to others' energy, and they haven't learned their lesson yet, so they let them, for whatever reason, they stay there, and that's fine if they do. We love them anyway, but that doesn't mean that they're less chosen than you. They just will not do the work to get on their path that they have chosen with the Creator to carry out. That's all that means. So being in the fourth density is a great place to be, because you've stepped out of the 3D and you start to question things. But I think it may be as hard to get out of the fourth density and into the spiritual realm, the astral realm of 5D, because there's so much out there that will keep you feeding into it, with religion, all the denominations, the spiritual community, people saying chosen all the time, conspiracy theories. It's just, there's so much information out there, and when you're ready to question things and you start gobbling all up, you can stay in that cycle too, even though it's not as self-harming as the lower densities. It's still a place that you can get stuck in the tumble because there's so much and you're like, where do I go? But you have to get out of there. You have to use your discernment and go within and stop letting all of those people tell you what to believe. You can cherry pick. I cherry pick. I am a cherry picker. So you can stay there arguing conspiracies with the government. You're still watching the media. You're staying stuck in the chosen categories and stuff like that. And then the religious community, once they get there, you start arguing with people online on whether we live on or flat earth or the earth is round. And just frustration and hate can spring from that too. And fourth density is hard to get out of, but go within. That's my advice. But rooting yourself in any identity at all limits your human experience as a limited divine being. You're still not getting to your desired destination. You're not realizing how powerful you are and how you create your own reality, and how you are free already, and that no one should have the power over you. You should not give your power away in order to feel small or scared or fearful of anything at all, even death, because we don't ever die. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be destroyed ever. So your higher self knows better. Go within. All of the answers are there, but stop limiting yourself and making yourself small by feeding into those limited belief system narratives. Observe what you're doing so that you can shed the layers of conditioning and programming without the trauma that's often needed to do that for you. I want to lessen the amount of pain so that people don't get stuck in those lower densities, because if you stop putting labels on yourself or letting people feed you those narratives and the conditioning, you will get out of that faster. You'll get them out of your way, get out of your own way, and you'll realize how big you are. Doesn't matter the size of your body. Your energy is enormous. Your power is enormous. They don't want you to know that in the conditioning, in the programming. Whoever they is that's feeding it to you, that's the they I'm talking about. So it could be your parents, it could be school, it could be church, it could be the government, it could be whoever is making you believe that you're small. And then you tell yourself you're small and that you can't do this or that, and that's not true. It's not true. You can do anything that you want to do at all. So don't adopt that. Ascension with no pain. That is my goal, along with the potential and helping people reach for it and having that light bulb moment. Ascension with just limited pain and trauma, so that it's not so hard to get out of the lower vibes. So limited beliefs. I have to wait till my children are grown to travel. I have to be married to have kids. I have to have kids. No, mad respect for those that recognize that they don't. I have to be wealthy and I have to covet it and protect it and not share it. That you can't do anything that you want because you can. That homeless people don't want to be homeless, and that they are less than you for any reason. Any reason. They are not. Those are all limited belief systems. What limited belief have you been taught or told yourself that's holding you back? Ask yourself that question. Make a list to become aware and be the observer so that you can stop giving that energy and let it burn. Transmute it into something that you can use, fuel for your fire to level up. That's homework. That's homework, guys. So just stop taking it all so seriously. There's risks in anything. Any choice that you're going to make, there's risks. So don't be paralyzed in the fear, the illusion that is fear. Take the risk. Take the risk. Whether you're riding in a car or you choose to take a plane, anything that you've seen on the news, stop watching the news. Just take the risk, because you will see when you take the leap that there was nothing to be afraid of, and that first step is always the hardest. So take it. In writing this message, I thought about the song from Weeds, The Little Boxes. I think her name is Malvina Reynolds, but little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, and they all look just the same. That we are taught to duplicate the paths that have been forged before us because it's safe, it's predictable, it's comfortable, it's familiar, encouraging conformity, like what that song is all about. When we are really sovereign beings, people rarely do what they have a degree in, and some people follow their parents' paths to make their parents proud, or because that's what they've been a witness to and they've seen it, so they're like, I can do that. Or they've already sort of done it by their parents letting them help. Or people that just go to college to get a degree, just to get a degree in something like philosophy or history or art, just to say that they have a degree, but then they really never use it, or they don't know what to do with it, that there's no profession in which to carry that out, but they got a degree because their parents said they had to. Always take the road less traveled and not the road of least resistance. Most people are scared of failure. Most people are scared of what other people think. Who cares what other people think? The sooner that you get out of that mindset and letting the fear of the criticism or the self-doubt and negative talk, like, who cares if you're crazy? Who cares if they say you're crazy, you're lazy, you're irresponsible, or you're weird? That's their problem. It's none of your business what other people say to you, and often you're not irresponsible. Being your authentic self is the best thing that you could do for yourself. Not being afraid of what they think and doing it anyway, because most often they are scared of what you're doing and they want to stay in their comfortable little box. They don't mind being small, and that's fine, but that doesn't have to be you. If your intuition is guiding you and telling you that there's more out there, follow it. It's doing it for a reason. Do not ignore the signs. Do not be held back by others' opinions or their criticism. Do not be small for anybody else. If you are being nudged by your intuition to get out there and do the damn thing, then do the damn thing. Because you're going to be in regret if you don't, and that's going to keep you in low vibration. So you're going to attract more people that didn't do what they were really wanting to do, and then you're going to commiserate and roll around in that, and you'll never get anywhere. So those are all labels of a limited belief system. Get them the hell out of the way. Swipe right on that. They don't know how hard it is to take that leap, and they don't want to know, and that's okay. But that doesn't have to be you. Don't let it rub off. It's very, vibes are very contagious. Low vibes and high vibes. So don't ride that wave. Don't choose to ride that wave. God will help you do it. He'll always help you do it. If you take that leap, he's going to help you do it. If your intuition was nudging you, there's a reason why. So don't let the noise of the peanut gallery be louder and overpower the intuition that is God-given. That's from God. Who would you rather trust? All of these loud naysayers? No. Don't listen to the rabble crowd. They don't know what they're talking about. They were scared. They're stuck. They're in their own mental prison. You don't have to be. You go and do it. And even if you are a little bit scared to take that first step, God will help you through that. And then he will help you do it anointed too. And you will see the difference in that confidence. The confidence that God will give you when he proves to you why it was worth it to take that step and get out of being small, because you are never meant to be small. Are we all made out of ticky-tacky? Are we all made just the same? No, we're not. We are all unique and chosen for our specific life paths. Don't abandon that by making yourself small and playing it safe to please others. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was the mindset of money, because coveting money is greed in its finest, and it creeps in, creating a problem that the devil will always be right there to sell you a solution to. So if you have a platform, if you have a business, if you have fame or notoriety, how will you choose to use it? So Tupac, I love a quote from him because he inspires many. No one should be hitting the lottery for 36 million and we have people starving in the street. So if you covet it, obviously you're not helping it. If you have a limited belief system about homeless people, some people, they all think, well, they messed up, they made the wrong decisions, they're mentally ill, they're putting them in a box and they're turning their eye away from it because it's ugly. They've labeled it as ugly. Take the labels off. Home is wherever your heart is. Home is wherever you hang your hat. You can be on a park bench every day and be happy as a clam because you are already home within yourself. And you are probably more authentic than anybody out here chasing money, chasing fame, doing what their parents told them to do, people pleasing, not getting out of their own way, being in a mental prison. Those people are probably not, but you're labeling them thinking that they are less than you and you're better than them and you don't need to help them if you have money. Some of them just need a little bit of encouragement. Some of them just need to be shown their potential and given just a little helping hand. I saw on Al Blade's channel where he met two people that they weren't asking him for anything. They just said, hey, I recognized you. Can we have a picture with you? You do great things for people, and I'm so glad that I met you. And then he started asking them questions about themselves, and they said that they were homeless and they were trying to find diapers that day. And so he gave the guy a job. It was a couple with a small child. He gave the guy a job for a few days. The guy even scouted yards for him so that, because he was a couple hours away from home in Florida and he didn't have time to scout the yards, the guy would already have yards lined up for him so that they could do. He was putting in the work. Al was showing him his potential and helping them reach for it. He started a GoFundMe for them. He ended up raising, I think, oh my gosh, it was like, I want to say $50,000, because Al Blades is huge in that, on his platform. He has like millions of followers and he has such a big heart that everyone knows that if he wants to help someone, that he is genuinely discerning about it, and he knows what it's like to walk in their shoes. He can meet them at their level, and if he says that they need it, and this guy has worked with him on a few jobs, he's gotten a good character read on him. He knows that this guy just needs a little bit of help. So thinking that they all should be put on a bus and shipped out so that it's not your problem You know what? Maybe it should be, and it's not a problem. Don't label it that. Don't label yourself better than them. Some of them want to be there. They don't care. That's fine. They would rather be there and not have the responsibilities and the stresses, and maybe they've had it all before and they choose not to want that. You are home within your inside yourself. That's why I always say, come home to yourself. So wherever you are, you're already at home. You don't have to be like, oh, I can't wait to get home. I'm just going to kick my shoes off and I'm going to be lazy. I'm going to do nothing. I can't wait to get home and eat. You were already home all of the time. Already home. So people say, oh, when I die and go to heaven, I'm going home. Heaven doesn't have to be up there. Heaven can be down here too. It resides within you whenever you're willing to go inside and connect to it. It is already there. Everything that you need, including heaven, is inside of you already. So change the perspective. Shift the perspective and your whole reality will change. That is you creating your reality by going within, connecting with God. Sources inside of you at all times. Even when you're not on your path, it's still there. It's just waiting for you to surrender to it and trust it. It's just waiting for you. What are you waiting for? There's also this show on Apple TV that I like called Loot, and I think it has Maya Rudolph in it. She was from Saturday Night Live, but she like got 87 billion in a divorce, and she always stayed home. She didn't do anything. She turned a blind eye to everything her husband was doing. He ended up cheating on her with a maid. I don't know, but she turned it all around in a way that she used the money from the divorce to connect with others, and she found herself along the way. So if you use discernment and pray about it, where to put your money, share it. Don't covet it. That is a low vibration. When you share it, you're raising the vibrations for yourself, for those that you're helping, because it's going to make them have gratitude. For you, tell them it comes from God. God deserves all of the glory because you didn't do any of that on your own. You were co-creating that. And hopefully not by selling your soul and signing a contract with the devil, that you went out there and you co-created with Source, and then it will keep coming because you're a vibrational match for that kind of gift to be given to you, because God knows that you are trusted to do the right thing with it, a positive thing, and that's love. Love is why. So be selfless and not selfish when it comes to the money mindset. So shift your perspective and take the labels off. It will change everything. And watch what you and God can do together once you've done that. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. Bye.